Hello, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and joining me, as always, is my Yabba Dabba Doo man.
What's my name? Don't act like you don't know my name all of a sudden. You know my name.
Anywho,
What it do?
what's your name?
No, you supposed to say it. You're the host.
Why do I have to say
Because you're
it?
the host.
But you're a grown man.
Yeah, I know it.
You're a big boy.
But they now they need to know that you know it.
Okay, we
Now
really
you-
moving on from this conversation now.
Now you don't want to say what's going on, Novelty.
Not much. How's everything in your world?
Pretty good. No complaints. You know, everything's good. I got some news that I just realized before the show. Remember, you was like, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "I'm laughing now, but I think it's gonna be like a sad situation, you know, on the show. Not really sad, but I think you'll be upset
What?
because I went to go and see Deadpool, and I feel like you told me that you wanted to go with
Oh,
me.
no.
Okay. Whew. Okay. I was like, oh man, I wanted to talk about it on the show, but I'm like, if I bring it up, didn't she say she wanted to see it too? And I didn't even consider you at all. Like I was like,
Oh, dang, that's
no,
cold.
No,
Wait a minute. And I'm the one that got you into superhero movies.
the Lord got me into super.
And now you don't even think. You know what?
What?
My feelings are really hurt now.
No. Well, you already said that. You.
No.
Okay, now you're saying
I'm upset
retroactively.
because you didn't even think about me.
No.
Do you know how often you don't think about me lately? I send you text messages. I don't get responses. I send you Facebook messages. I don't get responses. And if I called, you'd freak out.
Well, you called me today, and what did I do?
Well, that's because I had to. I couldn't get up the stairs.
But what did I do?
You answered.
I answered. I didn't want to.
Really? You want me to start calling you?
No, I was saying I
Okay.
didn't want to, but I answered because I thought maybe you've been having car trouble, so I thought maybe something was wrong, and so
That's fixed. Hopefully,
it
that's
is fixed. Oh, you
So
did go
far,
ahead
so
and go through
good.
with the
Yep.
procedure or whatever.
Yeah.
All right,
The
on.
procedure.
It was
No,
a procedure for your car.
Hopefully it's fixed and that has gone away now.
But anyway, Deadpool.
Okay.
I went to go and see that last Saturday. It is funny as hell. I mean,
really?
I loved it. It was a really, really good movie. And it's like, I love Black Panther and I love this movie too, but for like totally different reasons. Black Panther was good. It was empowering. It was inspiring. It was motivational. This was just funny as hell and it was good. It was good. So you have to go and see it.
Okay.
You guys out there, if you've seen the movie, please let me know what you thought about it, but I loved it.
Now who'd you go with?
Myself. I don't
You
need nobody to
think
kick
about
it.
taking. You couldn't think about anybody but yourself.
No, I didn't want to take anybody but myself because you know, especially after us trying to get together and figure out and decide a date to go to JT's play, and how like it's so many people trying to. I don't like all of that. So I said, you know what? To get my mind off of that madness, because we still ain't came up with a date. To get my mind off of that madness, let me go to the movies where I can go by myself and not have to try and coordinate with anybody else's schedule. And I went. I had a good ass time. The movie was good, and then I even went to a different movie theater after that and saw A Quiet Place, and that was good as well.
Now, see, you would have been watching that one by yourself.
Yeah, because I like
'Cause
scary movies.
I would have been in your
but it
lap.
was actually. Oh, huh?
No.
Wait a minute, and you say you don't know my name. Well, you set yourself up for that one.
I walked right into that
But
one.
both movies were actually really good.
Okay, cool. Well, I have had an interesting week. So I decided to mess with my fish tank. You know, when you have a fish tank, the worst thing about a fish tank is cleaning the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the only thing that just really aggravates you.
It's the one thing that has led me to like getting rid of, aka killing, my fish every time I've decided to start my tank back up.
My
Cabinet
fish aside.
Well, you remember the last time I actually threw the fish out into the rain, give it a chance to try and live.
In a puddle.
Well, hey, do you. You a
You
fish.
could have flushed the fish. I'd have rather you flushed it than threw it out
I
in
felt
a
like he
puddle.
had a better chance.
It had a better chance in the toilet than it did in a puddle that was going to dry out.
Oh, well, I didn't think about that. We ain't talking about me. Get back to your story.
Anywho, so, you know, there's the little vacuum that you vacuum the gravel with. Mine connects to the...
What are you talking about?
Okay. For real people with fish,
You got a fish vacuum.
there's a vacuum that vacuums the gravel and kind of cleans up some of the fish poop out of the gravel.
I would take the entire tank to the bathtub and spend like an hour, like filling it up with water and soap, and then rinsing it out, and then refilling it up with soap and rinse. That's why it was a process for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a vacuum.
You're not even supposed to put soap in once you put the fish in.
Hey, well, maybe that's another reason I lost my fish.
So I have a gravel vacuum.
Yeah.
And mine connects to the sink. You don't have to suck it or use a pump to to make the water come up. You stick it in, you connect it to the sink, and the pressure of the water turning the faucet on and off makes it suck. Shut up. Anywho, so mine is long. It's like 200 feet long. Would you stop? Stop being so nasty.
I haven't said one word.
Okay, but he's laughing. Every time I say anything that can be remotely sexual, he just goes to a whole nother place.
I'm just listening to your story.
Anywho, so it's about 200 feet long.
Yeah.
And pulling it all the way apart and then getting it in the sink and turning it on and all of that, it's a hassle. So my poor fish, they'll die in their own poop.
So you don't even have to move the tank.
Heck no, I can't pick up 20 pounds of water.
Well, I used to let my water like evaporate a little bit before I actually take it to clean it.
You're supposed to only.
But you had like little roach fish. You had it was like 1 million fish in your tank.
Okay, that
I only
was
had
then.
like
no,
5
I
fish.
have I got glowfish, so I only had 5
okay.
at the time, and so I had to clean it. Anywho, I had to clean it, and then if I forgot to treat the water, which is how the fish died. I forgot to treat the water one time when I did it, and I woke up the next morning and they were all dead. So I mean, it's just so many different little parts to it. So one of the things I decided to do to kind of make it easier for me to clean it is to make that vacuum easier for me to access, because I kept it in the box in the closet all the way in the back, and I'd have to pull stuff out of the closet to get to it. It just became a hassle. So I said, let me put this on my fish rack, but it was no place for it to sit. And mine is metal, so I couldn't drill a hole and put a hook there or anything like that. But what I did was I went to Ace Hardware and I got kind of like a U hook. It's shaped like a U.
Yeah.
And I slipped it underneath the fish tank, but it was kind of on the rack. So it was more pressure on the rack. The problem is there was a little bitty screw at the top of the U hook. And I wasn't thinking, little bitty screw, a lot of water pressure coming down on the other side of the glass. And somewhere I popped the seal. So I get up this morning and everything's fine. I'm not thinking anything of it. I leave, go to do my first outing of the day, because I had 50 million things to do today. Something told me to go home. And I come home and I hear water. And I'm like, where is this water coming from? I go and
was
look.
your first thought your little water filter system, whatever? The thing that you gave me, the water cooler?
No.
You didn't think that?
No, my first thought was, I just put water in that fish tank. Why is it sounding like it's halfway full? Because the filter.
So it sounded like it was coming from the fish tank.
Right. I mean, it sounded like it was the fish tank, but it sounded like a lot of times if the water gets too low, the filter will start making more noise.
Right, you hear it's louder.
And that's what it sounded like. And so I was like, I'm thinking, I know I just feel that I just did it yesterday. I'm not crazy. What is going on? And I go, and the fish tank is halfway full. And I look on the floor and there's water everywhere. It's a 20-gallon tank, so at least 10 gallons of water all over my hardwoods. And I don't have like fake hardwoods. I got real hardwoods. So, it messes up. Water messes up a hardwood floor.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shit. I run into my.
Did you cuss?
Yes. I said a lot more than shit. I said a whole bunch of stuff. My poor dog just was in her kennel, but she's just looking at me like, what is going on?
Right.
I ran to my linen closet. I got my good towels. This is how crazy I was. I got my good towels and just threw them all around the fish tank, all over the floor, to try to sop up that water.
Right.
And I got it up and found a bucket to put under there. And I'm like, what is going on? And I hear this. I mean, you can just hear cracking And I'm like, oh crap. And it hit me. It dawned on me what I did. And I'm thinking, okay, it's still 10 gallons of water in there, gravel and everything else. This fish tank is ready to go. It just didn't have fish in it. And I'm
Where
like,
were the fish?
remember I killed them.
Oh, for some reason I thought you killed them, got some more, and
No, I killed them.
so you're cleaning this fish tank and it doesn't even have fish in it?
Yes, because I'm prepping it for new fish. You should have a tank for about a month to prep it for new fish if you're a fish person.
Yeah, me.
We know you not. You put them
Like,
in there 30 minutes after you put the water in.
You're damn right. I put that little treatment in there, and 30 minutes, y'all better be ready.
You're supposed to prep the tank. So
Okay.
I'm prepping the tank, and I'm planning on getting fish. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I getting ready to do? Because this is getting ready to bust because I can hear it now. I'm like, this is going to bust. I'm going to have another 10 gallons of water on my floor now and glass and everything else. Glass, gravel, rocks. I mean, just everything. And so my mind is racing. So I run and I grab that. Now, mind you, last night I cleaned my house from top to bottom. I mowed my lawn. I cleaned my own body. I cleaned outside, inside. I mopped. I dusted everything.
And you still
By
don't want to
the
come
time-
and like do that over here?
Hell no.
Okay.
At this point, I'm going, okay, I got to empty that water. So I run as fast as I can and grab that dang old hose, unravel everything, plug it up, and start sucking that water out of there. Shut up.
No, you go ahead.
So, but
From
whole
from
time,
the vacuum?
yeah.
Okay.
But the whole time it's leaking, and I can hear it cracking, and that water's coming out as fast as I can get it to come out. Got that water out of there before it started to crack, but of course it's a vacuum. So once it gets so low, it can't suck any more of the water out.
Right.
So then I had to leave the bucket under there, and it was at least not enough water to make it break, but it was still
Because
dripping.
of the weight of the water?
Right. It was
Okay.
still dripping. So
And
that
you didn't
bucket's
like pick
still
it up
there.
and go and pour the water out?
Yeah, I emptied the
Okay.
bucket and then put it back under there.
No, I'm saying pick up the tank and pour the water out of the tank
No,
into the
because
bucket.
I'm afraid if I lift it, I'll make something shift and it'll break.
So what's the plan?
The plan is to let it completely drip out now because I
Yeah.
have something under it and it's not a lot in there. It's maybe about 2 cups at the most.
Uh-huh.
And once it completely all comes out, then I will lift it from one side and push everything to the side where it's not broken and get it out. I already got a new fish tank.
Okay.
And
How do you already have a new fish tank? You was planning to for this whole catastrophe?
when this happened, I was like, okay, I got to go get another fish tank.
Okay. You know, I got a fish tank. You could have got mine.
How big is it?
I think it's like 30 gallon actually.
Well, I wish you'd have told me. I just went and bought a 20 gallon.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go and get
Oh.
another fish tank.
Well, yeah,
we just talked about this today.
I went and got another fish tank. I went and
You won't fish that bad. This
Well,
probably was a sign like, you know what, fish ain't for you.
No, this was a sign nigger rigging ain't for me. I really wasn't supposed to say that word.
Lord have mercy.
I'm sorry, people.
But
But
yes.
yeah, that was a sign I should. I mean, and it just, I wasn't thinking. When I did it, I was like, okay, well, it's the screw's not big enough to puncture it. I mean, it's not going to do anything. So it should be fine. But I wasn't thinking about the seal. I just wasn't thinking. And lo and behold, crap happens when you don't think.
Yeah, you learned the hard way.
And I sure learned the hard way. 10 gallons of water on my hardwood floor.
Did you get it cleaned up?
Yes.
Right on.
And I got it fast enough that it didn't stain my floor. It didn't discolor my floor.
Or warp your floor. It could have done that too.
Oh, yeah, you got a point.
You didn't
I
think
guess
about
I
that?
really don't want to warp there either. No, because I know the first thing I think about is my wood is going to discolor. And I
Oh,
got
but
to do something.
you can paint that with some spray paint.
No. No.
Right on.
But I went back and was going through some comments on this for the show, and just read my book.
Oh, that's my YouTube auntie.
Oh well, she gave me a suggestion, so I want to take you somewhere with me.
Okay.
You gonna go?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I have a choice, so I will listen. Go ahead.
So, we talk about guns, and she suggests that I should take you to the gun range.
Oh, yeah, I'd go.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a shooter, so yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's all I do is shoot video games, so I know on the gun range, I'm going to be a pro.
Oh yeah.
It's the same.
We going to the gun range now.
It's the same.
Just read my book. No, we going to the gun range.
I want to say let us record this little outing. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be embarrassed because I am a pro.
You a
This
pro?
ain't gonna be the first time I shot a gun.
A
Every
real one?
Yes, on New Year's, that's what we do.
Oh, New Year's, your butt is sitting in this house.
No, well, I'm saying before I became like a homebody, that's what we would do. Because ain't nobody got no real fireworks, so we got to make the firework noise. And so this
So
before I
whose gun
learned
you
that
go shoot.
I don't know whose gun it was, but I was always with my family, and there was always a gun, and we'd be out there
What
shooting.
was y'all shooting at?
The up in the air. This is before I found
so-
out. I know now that the bullets that go up come
Must
down,
come down.
and sometimes hurt people, and so I've never done it since then.
But there's never been a target.
No,
Okay, so how
you
you
shooting
know
up
you're
and you
gonna be
celebrating.
good? How you know you're gonna be good when there's a target?
Look at these eyes. These eyes. Ain't it a song about these eyes? Look at you. Yeah, you're getting lost in them because they that specific. I can key in and hone in on the target. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you stupid.
Anyway,
Anywho, so you got a bay for me.
I do. This week for Black Achievements and Excellence, after all that nonsense, we are going to award Daryl Landon Kelly, who was 24. This young man received his law school degree from the University of Cincinnati College of Law on Saturday in Ohio and rushed to his graduation ceremony in Kentucky for Xavier University's Williams College of Business to get his Master's of Business Administration. So he got a law degree and an MBA in the same damn day.
Woohoo!
So it was a struggle.
Wow.
Not because it was hard. It was because at that point I was just over school. And so
Yeah.
to get my BA or my bachelor's, I was over school, and everybody's like, "You gonna go back to graduate school?"
And
I'm
you
like,
going, "No."
I'm thinking about it, but that was just to pacify them. In my mind, I'm like, "Hell no!" So to be going and doing it concurrently, like I don't know if I would have been able to hack it because I've always had to work while I was going to school ever since like high school. So like. I don't know nothing about that. But what was interesting about this article that I read regarding, Daryl is what his mom said. She said, "I was born to 5 generations of love, and I passed that on to them," talking about her kids. She said, "If he's tall, it's because he's standing on tall shoulders. He's big because of the village, because of the friendships. He grew up with love."
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, we don't really talk about that anymore. How back in the day they said, it takes a village to raise a child.
It takes a
and at this
village.
point, like, ain't nobody raising the kids. And so for this young man to have a strong support system and have a loving mother, they don't really mention anything about his father, but to have a loving mother who still has enough support around her to encourage him to do everything he wants to do and be everything he wants to be, that says something. And so that like just reading that little quote, and it may not mean anything to you guys, but it just made me feel so good. Because it's like, we got some real strong black women out there who do the job.
But we have villages. I mean, and I think that's just it. A lot of people don't even realize.
They don't.
You don't realize you have a village. It wasn't just one person that did it. It's that village. And I mean, I know my village. My village is my family.
I would
My
say you,
family
yes.
is
I would say you do
large.
have a village.
I know my village.
I don't feel like I had that though.
You had a village.
I had people there, but I don't feel like I had the support because I feel like everything I've done, as far as like going to school or whatever, like I don't think people they supported me at the graduation, but they didn't support me through school. They didn't support me with helping with my books. They didn't support me with studying.
But did they support you with an encouragement? Did they support you with?
They didn't. No, I didn't have that. But I knew this is something that my mom would have wanted me to do. So that was the encouragement. She was the village for me, and she wasn't even here. She was, she passed away when I was 12, but I still held on to that. And, every now and then my grandmother would say, what would your mom want you to do? So that my grandmother as well. That was the encouragement for me. I mean, I didn't have really anybody else, but, listening to what this young man had, if I had that, I feel like I would have been so much further. I would have done so much more.
Right.
But it shouldn't, I guess I'm of the mindset that it shouldn't really take, all the support.
Right.
If it's something that I want to do, I should strive to do it on my own with or without the support, like I did with graduating,
Right.
high school and graduating with my associates and graduating with my bachelor's. But a part of me feels like if I had the encouragement, like the support system like you had, that I would just be in a different place in my life. But I don't want to, take away.
Right.
Because it got sad real quick.
No. I mean, it's just really interesting because, there's a saying, together we have it all, but we don't always have it together. That's my family. Together we have it all, but we don't always have it together.
And
we really don't.
With me knowing your family, and like you guys fuss and fight all the time.
All the time.
But when it comes down to it, they're there.
Right. And that's just it. And they were there. When I look back in high school, when I'd have fights with my mom, when I'd be upset with my sisters, it was always somebody there telling me, and even now to this day, they tell me when I'm wrong. And I think a lot of people miss that more than anything. They surround themselves with people who tell them everything that they want to hear versus what they need to hear. And that's what I had. I had a family that told me when I was wrong, encouraged me to go out after what they felt was right, even though some of it I didn't feel was right. They were still there to encourage me. My mom was the proudest person when I got my degree. So, she was more excited than I was. But
I think your issue was the payments, having to pay that money back.
Steal the payments. But, and my aunt, she was very proud of me, which it was a close aunt, but just one I didn't expect to be proud of me for completing school, but she shocked me. She was really proud of me. And I've got people still asking me, okay, so where's my invitation? And I'm like, oh, you wanted one? She's like, I didn't think it was no big deal, but okay, I'll send you one.
You did make it as if like this is no big deal. I'm only going to the graduation because my mom wants it and all of that. Right,
because it wasn't to me, but to everybody else, it was a huge deal. Even my silly oldest brother, who, sometimes I don't think he got it all. He was there, and he has shown me things to do and not to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he's shown me by doing these things not to do. But, still. So I look back, and I did have a village. I know I had a village. Nobody got drama like family. Yeah. Nobody brings the drama like family. But the reality is, I think there's no such thing as a functional family. Everybody's family is dysfunctional. It's just what level of dysfunction is your family at.
Right. I
don't think that you can live and grow and be with people like that and there not be some kind of dysfunction. Think about how much time you spend with family.
Right.
Nobody can like each other that much,
and all the time.
Right. So we dysfunctional just like everybody else, but we are family, and they were supportive. So I understand totally what his mom is saying. That village, it takes a village to raise a child. Where is your village, and who was your village? Didn't you have friends that encouraged you?
I had friends.
Yeah, friends at high school, in college.
I had friends in college.
Richard,
I didn't really have
Joe.
too many friends in high school. Well, I guess I feel like looking back, especially, on Facebook, everybody seems like they used to be your friends, but we didn't talk to each other when we were actually in school. So it's weird on Facebook that we're friends. But I don't know. I feel like when we were in college and we were on the same level, I didn't take it as encouragement. It was just all of us doing what we had to do. So that was, I took it different. It may have been encouragement,
but I think
I took it differently.
To some degree it was. My best friend, we went to high school together. We went to separate colleges, but it just was, she encouraged me. I don't think she physically said, hey, keep it up, you're doing good, all of that. But just even if it was competition, or even if it was, okay, finals week is coming up, you ready for your finals? Just even a conversation.
But I was more so that person to them than they were to me. Because I was also older than all of them. Well, so, that's kind of how it
Joe.
was. Yes.
Everybody got a lot of years on Joe.
I was surprised to hear that he was in his 30s now. So
he is?
Yeah.
I still see him at 21.
He still looks like he's 21.
Right. So, anywho.
So, shout out to Daryl Landon Kelly, 24, 2 degrees, and still doing boss thing.
All right. So, you ready for this?
I am.
Okay. So, we're going to start out with 45.
Okay.
It's just some interesting tidbits. Sarah Sanders Huckabee
Yeah.
is upset because people are calling her a liar.
I saw you post this on the Facebook page, and it's like, did you not expect this? You think people are just going to sit back and watch you lie and hear you lie and not call you out on it? I guess maybe privilege.
Miss Huckabee, I have one piece of advice for you. If you are upset that people are calling you a liar, you have two options. Stop lying.
Stop lying.
Or quit your freaking job.
Where you have to lie.
That's all it is to it.
Yeah. See, that's the part that I guess frustrated me about the whole situation is that she didn't acknowledge that she's working for in a position where she has to lie or spin the story, and we recognize it for what it is. So if that's your job and you have a problem with it, then
quit your job.
Quit your job.
I mean, it's not like you can't find another one.
What's she gonna do?
Oh, it's a lot of jobs where you lie for a living.
Oh, she can be a lawyer,
advertiser.
Okay,
there's a lot of jobs. Anywho,
but she won't have to own her own business because I wouldn't hire her for me.
I didn't say you would hire her because I wouldn't hire her either.
Even though she's lying, she's not good at it. So why would I hire her to be the professional liar for me?
But she's a senator's daughter. I'm sure she's
I don't
married.
give a damn about that.
I mean, she don't have to have a job. She can be a housewife.
She could be a housewife. She
could write a book. That's what everybody else who comes out of the administration is doing.
She will write a book. That's coming.
It's a lot of different things she do. So you remember a few months back, I had a conversation with a gentleman. We were talking about, it was after the first State of the Union address. And someone had posted on my Facebook page that 45 was going to get a second term because of this State of the Union. His followers believed every word he said, yada, 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 yada. And I pointed out that, well, all it takes is people to go vote because his followers are 30% of the voting population. 30%. So if the other 70% of the people go vote.
Voted.
I mean, then it won't be a second term.
Right.
It's that simple. So it is possible that there still won't be a second term. See, I still have hope. But somebody pointed out to me that, that even though they didn't quite understand how the Electoral College worked, it's all a lie, it's fake, it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And when I posed to ask them the question, well, if you don't feel like voting is going to make a difference, what can you do? What are you going to do to make a difference? And they said to me, nothing. Divine intervention. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember the divine intervention conversation.
Well, they might have been right.
Because?
There's a sinkhole opening out up in front of the White House, and there's a sinkhole opening out in front of Margot Largo.
I saw you post. I didn't see the one outside of Mar-a-Lago, but I think I saw a picture of the one outside of
Mar-a-Lago. I said Margot Largo.
Yeah, Mar-a-Lago.
Okay. Yeah. And I just think it's kind of interesting that sinkholes are opening up in front of his residences.
Yeah, everywhere he goes. So that shows you that either the earth is opening up to take him, or I don't know.
Or the earth is opening up to let his people out.
Or that.
I'm just saying. Lastly, my last little Trump tidbit, and this is the one I've been thinking about. We've been sitting here and we look at our children and we say, how do we teach our children to not be bullies, to do the right thing, to be honest, when this is the leader of the free world right now?
Right now, yes.
Well, I found a lesson that you can teach your children.
Okay.
From him. How to learn how to be on a team. See, he decided that he wasn't going to take any advice from the 5 living previous presidents. He is the only president in history to have this many people to choose from and to talk to who have actually done that job. Some for 4 years, but most for 8.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. It's not even just Obama. He don't want to take nobody's point of view, nobody's suggestions, nobody's nothing. He don't want to talk to him, don't want to deal with him. He knows more than everybody else.
But we knew that when he was running for his campaign because he wanted to shake it up.
Okay,
so
and I get that.
That makes sense to me.
So, but when it comes to your kids, this is the lesson that needs to be learned. He knew everything else. He could do this by himself. Now, 5 previous presidents said that this North Korea thing was not going to work. That's why they've never done it, because of the way North Korea is. Now, here we are, his big baby. He thought the whole reason he was suggested to win the Nobel Peace Prize because he actually made this summit come off. It don't look like it's going to happen now. 1, you counting your chickens before they hatch. 2, you sitting up here boasting about everything before it's even started, let alone finished.
That's for his base, though. We know that.
Doesn't matter. And then 3, you don't want to take advice from anybody who is set in the position, who knows the job. I'm not talking about anybody who thinks they know the job. People who know the job. The 5 people in the world that know pretty much everything you know.
But you also are talking about a guy who feels like he can do it better, and they all did it wrong.
I'm telling you, this is where the lesson for your children come in. You teach your children, this is why you should play as a team. This is why you should have mentors. This is why you should consult others who have done the job before you, because they can help you be better. Had he talked to any one of them and taken any piece of little advice, perhaps he wouldn't have boasted about this, and it started to fall through right in front of him.
And I don't even think that he had to necessarily talk to them, because I guarantee you there were advisors who advised against this, not the ones that he chose, because they're just going to go with whatever he wants to.
He don't play with his own.
But the ones that have been in the game through multiple, numerous presidents and know how this works. It's just the fact that he doesn't want to hear anything. He just wants to do whatever he wants to do, because he wants it at the end of the day to make sure he can maintain and claim all of the credit for whatever happens, especially if it's successful. Yep. Otherwise, if it's not successful, he's going to blame the black guy.
He blames the black guy for everything.
Blame the black guy.
And so, lesson for your children. If you're looking for a lesson, there's one right there.
Right on. You found one.
I found one. It took a while, too. You see, it took about 1.5 years. Speaking of children. So have you all heard about the 30-year-old man whose parents were trying to evict him from their house?
I heard about that. And it was like unbelievable. But I just knew once I heard it that it must be some like white people. I don't even know was he white? Were they white?
Of course.
Because I'm like, I just felt like in my spirit that a black family would have just tossed his little country black ass out on out the house.
Would have beat him out the house.
Like the fact that we have to actually go through the court system in order to get you out of our house. We need a judge to rule that you need to leave. No.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't heard, first and foremost, like the Facebook page, because it's definitely on the page. We throw stories up there that we just kind of would have talked about on the show all the time, but they sometimes don't make the show. Well, this one made the show just because of his response. So anyway, what happened was this 30-year-old man living with his parents, he had lost custody of his child. And so he was staying with his mom and his dad. His mom and his dad had basically told him, you need to get a job. It's time for you to go. He claims he has some kind of web-based business. But if mom and dad are saying you need a job, evidently that web-based business is not making money.
Right. They're not seeing. Like
they're not seeing nothing. You know how moms and dads are. So they told him he had to go. Gave him $1,100 to get him his own place. So basically, they gave him first month's and last month's rent.
Depending on where it is.
At least first month's rent.
Maybe first month's rent. Yeah.
He could have paid last month on his own. He supposedly got a job. Anywho, so they gave him $1,100, told him he had to go. They were giving him, I think, like 30 days initially to get out. He still wasn't leaving. So they take him to court to evict him. First and foremost, I'm trying to figure out why mama and daddy didn't just change the locks, put his stuff out, and tell him we don't know you.
Right.
Which is what made me say this has got to be a white family, because a black mom. I mean, I've seen black mamas put their kids out, and this ain't how it goes.
And then the fact that he's 30, it's not like, because a lot of black families like 18. Hey, it's time to go. But also at 18, we feel like we grown anyway, so we've been counting down.
Right, we counting down the days to get out.
We've been ready.
We tired of hearing that. Well, you can do it when you get out of get your own roof.
Yeah.
As long as you under my roof, we tired of hearing that crap right there. So we out. But anywho, so they took him to court so the judge could evict him. The judge says, well, yeah, you got to go, which I don't know why. I can't understand how this got this far.
Right.
Because if I was the judge, I was like, no, we're not hearing this case. You get out.
Yeah, this is like frivolous. Do we know how long they have been trying to get him to leave?
No,
they didn't talk about that.
They didn't really say. So the kid responds with, I just don't understand. I don't do anything. I don't cause more work for them. I'm not bothering them. I do my own laundry. I buy my own food. Why are they trying to kick me out? They're just trying to kick me out. Just put me on the street. He truly does not understand.
So
why the hell his 30-year-old ass gotta go?
And the fact that he has, like, he's using whose electricity is he using? Is it his own?
Mom and his daddy's.
Oh, okay. And like, who's water and to do
His
laundry?
mama's
okay.
I mean, you know the answers.
But he's buying his own food. I mean, that's a plus, you know.
Yeah, that's a plus. I don't have to feed your 30-year-old ass.
Yeah.
But I still gotta pay your electricity, pay your water, pay your gas. You can't do your laundry without my water and my washing machine.
And the fact that you have a web-based business, which means that you're probably on the computer or whatever all the time, which is using even more electricity, using internet that they probably don't even want, but they got it for your ass because you said you had this internet-based business.
So this brings me to my second lesson. But this lesson is not for your children. This lesson is for parents. You got one job only. Teach your child how to survive without you. That is your only job. Now, with that job comes along love, compassion, teaching them right from wrong, this, that, and the other. But your job, your main job is the same as every other animal on the face of this planet. To teach your young how to survive without you. That's it. I guarantee you, them parents is one of them sets of parents that said, oh, well, everybody needs to get an award. Everybody needs to get a plaque.
Participation?
Participation counts for everybody. Oh, I don't argue with my kid. We negotiate. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you went to work and negotiated with your boss?
We negotiate during raise time.
Do you negotiate on your time to come in and out of work?
No, I don't think I'm a good example because my job is flexible.
Okay, so let's go back to prior to, before you got your last.
No, they said, okay, this is the job. This is the clock in time. This is your lunch time. This is time to go home.
Okay, so did you ever negotiate then with just say if you were what duties you were going to do and were not going to do? We're not talking about now.
I know we're not talking about, but even back then, like, because I'm a good guy. And so usually I get to the point where I can start negotiating.
We're not talking about once you get to that point, because everybody eventually, if you're a good employee, you can get there. But we're talking about in the beginning.
Not in the beginning.
Okay, let's rewind back to your Walmart days.
But hey, that's not a good example. Hey, I'm a good guy.
It's not about
every
you being
job
a good guy.
I've ever had. I got a certificate or an award or
we're talking
something.
about let's talk about the first 90 days of you being in that job.
You
were a good guy.
Yes.
You was negotiating in the first 90.
I went there to take other people to fill out applications, and I said, well, might as well. I'm here and got the job. They didn't.
Okay, but when you got the job, did you negotiate what time you were going to be there, what your duties were going to be?
Duties, yes. What time I was going to be there, no.
Okay, I can give you that.
Yeah,
because there's certain things at Walmart I wouldn't do.
Exactly,
and I tell them up front I ain't doing that. But you were willing to lose that job, right?
Because I didn't expect to even get it, yeah.
So, but my whole point, without going through the good guy clause, my whole point is the reality is when kids when they start working and when they start dealing with people outside of their family, and truly dealing with people as adults,
right?
You don't have mama can't go to your job and tell you, look, my baby needs an award too.
Right.
Mama can't go to your job and say, my baby don't want to get out of bed until noon.
Exactly.
Okay. You have to, the moment your mama step foot at your job, guaranteed it's a problem and you might not have a job no more.
Right.
But two, you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, but you have to be able to handle disappointment. You have to be able to handle things that you don't get, not being able to get everything you want.
Right.
And because we coddle children so much right now, because we don't want to hurt their feelings and we don't want to hurt, we don't want them to feel bad. We don't want them angry. We're not teaching them how to deal with their emotions.
Right.
And that is the lesson that they're not learning. So when they get 30,
and don't want to leave the
and
house.
don't want to, well, not only don't want to, they don't know how to leave the house. They don't know what to do.
Now, did they talk about in the article? You said he got a child.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, what was that all about? Like,
he lost custody of his child. They didn't go into detail, but I'm assuming because he didn't have his own house. He was living with his mom and his daddy.
Really?
I'm sure, but probably the baby mama got her own house, and they thinking this is the better parent.
But he doesn't sound like the type to actually procreate.
Well, he procreated with somebody. I guess it just take a few drinks to open some legs.
Listen to you. That's
It's
true.
honest.
That's true. It only takes, that's a quote right there. It only takes a couple drinks to open some legs.
But I mean, that was his whole thing. How could they do this to me after I lost custody of my child?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to handle things when things get rough. It's easy to go home to mom and daddy. I was sitting outside the other day because, it's been nice after about 7 around here. It's been pretty nice breeze. So I'm sitting out on my little swing, enjoying my neighbors and, chit-chatting here and there.
I feel like just being nosy, just seeing what's going on in the neighborhood.
Well, that too.
Enjoying my neighbors. Okay.
But chit-chatting and all of that. So, and every year I get my little squirrels, my little raping squirrels.
Your squirrels. Yes.
Okay, for y'all that don't know, I got 2 squirrels that come around the same time every year, and they keep telling me they're not raping each other, they mating. But that squirrel ran up the tree, the other squirrel grabbed him and threw him down on the ground and jumped on top of him. That looked like rape to me. I'm just saying.
Well, they speak another language.
Evidently, Chip. I call him Chip and Dale, and Chip wasn't having it, but Dale was no, you come back. So anyway, I was sitting there and I saw a commotion in the trees and I thought it was my little squirrels, Chip and Dale, but it wasn't. It was birds. And there were 4 birds, three baby birds. 2 of them fell and hit the ground, and it clicked what it was. With birds, one day, the mama bird sits on the nest. She builds the nest. She sits on the egg, waits on it to hatch. Then once the little hatchlings come out, she runs and goes and gets some food and brings them back worms and stuff. And then one day, mama bird just picks the bird up and throws it out the nest.
And say, fly.
Learn how to fly. You got to learn how to fly. And that's what happened. She threw these birds out the nest. One was able to take flight. 2 of them hit the ground. The one that was able to take flight, along with the mama, went to the other 2 birds that hit the ground, and they sat there, and I heard them chirping. So they're having some kind of conversation. And then the wings started flapping, and both birds finally took off. So once all 4 birds were flying, they flew off, and I'm assuming mama was going to show them where to find food. That's what birds do. They teach their children how to fly. We have to teach our children how to fly. We cannot coddle them. That bird didn't say, okay, baby, I'm going to take you to the bottom and sit you here. No, she threw that bird out the nest and said fly. And when it hit the ground, it was like, oh, well, you better get on up,
Yeah, figure it out.
There's a time to coddle. A 3-year-old, you got a boo-boo, you kiss his boo-boo. Mommy's kisses always make the boo-boo feel better. But 15-year-old, you still kissing a boo-boo. It's a problem. It's a real problem, because at some point who gonna kiss their boo-boo when mama gone? They might find a girlfriend to kiss their boo-boo. I don't know.
There's some weird stuff going on.
Right, yeah, some weird. They might find a girlfriend to do it, but if you can't find a girlfriend, how you gonna get the boo-boo kiss?
You just sit there and cry.
Right. And our children and throw our little birds out the nest so they can fly. We've got to teach them how to deal with emotion. I don't know if it's that or the ADHD meds or the combination that's causing all of these teenagers to lose their minds and decide, okay, the easiest thing for me to do is go shoot up everybody. Or if it's just statistically everything's the same and it's always been this number. We're just seeing it now because of video. I don't know what it is, but I do know that we have got to stop coddling children and giving everybody awards when everybody doesn't deserve one, because they are going to grow up and everybody ain't going to get an award. Everybody ain't going to get the job, and it's going to be a president out there. It probably won't be 45, but there's always another one around the corner, and it's going to be one up there that don't give a damn about how anybody else feels. All they care about is what they want. And if you don't teach your children how to handle that, you end up with a 30-year-old you trying to evict out your house. Or you end up gone because the Lord has taken you home and your kid is sitting on the corner because he don't know how to survive, or in jail because he don't know how to survive. And to me, the only person you have to blame at that point is
yourself.
You.
Yeah.
Because you didn't teach the one lesson you need to teach: how to live without me. Don't get me wrong. My mama's still there. My daddy's still there. My aunties are still there. Everybody's still there. And I know if crap goes wrong, I got 50 million people I can go to. But I know how to do it by myself.
And you do a good job. Just to, be honest. You do a good job. Yeah.
I mean, I try my best to not ask for help and to just do. That's how I ended up rigging that fish tank.
Yeah.
Doing stuff by myself.
And we saw how
and
that worked out.
sometimes it don't work out.
But you know what? When you made the mess, you cleaned it up yourself.
I sure did.
And that's another lesson to be learned. Right on. I'm proud of you, Novelty.
Oh, thank
So
you.
every now and then, in my black preacher
praise.
voice, you do something to make me proud.
Oh. Anywho, so my next story here. So people are mad because people taking a knee.
Oh, okay.
But people ain't mad because kids are shooting up each other. What the hell?
Well, we know people are mad about the shootings as well, but they aren't as vocal. Well, I can't even say they aren't as vocal. I guess laws and a lot of laws aren't being changed because of the school shootings.
But
some are.
The
but
NFL
the NFL decided to change
the
their rules about taking a knee, which isn't hurting physically anybody. People aren't losing their lives because somebody is taking a knee on a football field to protest injustice and police killing black or people of color. Well, no, you get it. It just like a part of you don't want to get it, but it's right there in black and white.
So the same day that the NFL comes out and says they're changing
the rules. They're going
to fine the teams.
Yeah, the teams
if the player takes a knee.
Right.
That same day, the video of Sterling Brown being tased by the police department comes out. He parked illegally. He was wrong, but it's Walgreens, middle of the night. I'm not surprised. A lot of people park illegally, running in, getting a drug, and running out. Somebody's sick at home. They trying to hurry up.
Yeah,
that's Walgreens in the middle of the night. That's normal to me. And plus, it's not that many people there, which is why people feel like they can.
Yeah, and who's monitoring Walgreens parking lot in the middle of the night?
Evidently,
like Barbecue Becky, who was monitoring, the park.
Barbecue Becky been on everything.
Barbecue Becky, like this is. I'm sure it was a similar situation because otherwise, who would care?
Who would care? Right? That Walgreens in the middle of the night, you double park.
If we're packed or whatever, and we got you like parked in the handicap, and we got people that are
then that's
needing
understandable.
That space, that's different. Yeah,
but in the middle of the night, really. So anyhow, this video surfaces that these police officers say that he was pushing back and trying to fight and
resisting arrest.
All the BS that they always say,
yeah.
But the video does not support any of it. And they tased him right before a game. He had to go play ball that same day. So I don't understand. I mean, I do understand.
Yeah, I'm about to say, what don't you understand? Like, this is status quo for how police treat black people in America.
But they still can't seem to understand and reconcile in their head why we taking a knee.
They don't care about why we're taking this is black people protesting, and we need to teach these black people when and where and how to protest where I can't see it and it doesn't affect me or my everyday life.
Then what I suggest, and I hope the NFL players do it, either all the NFL players sit out.
Yeah, stay in the locker room.
It's 80%. Well, no, I'm talking about the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
80% of the league is black. Leave.
And see that, I understand.
What they gonna do? Fire 80% of the players?
I don't know what they would do, but that would change things. That right there.
That's
but
massive change.
I don't see, and
I
I don't even
see
want
it
to
either.
say it. I don't see my people standing up for
I don't see
something
it
that
either.
you know would be monumental and would make such an impact that people have to go back and reevaluate this thing.
Right.
You know, they would actually have to take notice into what the hell you're actually protesting versus the way we've changed the protests into being. You know, how we've, made it to look like. We now we're actually having the conversation about police brutality because we want to get to the root of how we can help you so that
Right.
you can help us because ultimately
Because
they're
guess
helping
what?
them.
It
make
ain't no
money,
football
put
without black people.
It ain't, and if it is, nobody's watching.
Right. I mean, we all talking about starting a black league. Well, hell, the league is black.
Yes.
It's just the people
And-
in charge are not.
And I don't know. I just don't have the faith in, and
I don't
I would
either.
love for it to happen.
I don't
I would
either.
love for them to get together and start our own.
I would love to see preseason where 80% of that league set out. Literally set out. But I know the most that I can ask for is the moment they say, please stand for the Star Spangled Banner, every black person on the field turn around and walk back to the locker room.
But I feel like the rule is that just don't come out until afterwards.
They
Because they don't-
introduced the team. Hey, I don't know if that's the rule.
They do warm up. Yeah,
right.
They do
warm up. They introduce the team. And so as soon as they say, hey,
I don't know, because, and I understand people are looking out for their livelihood, but that's the problem because we've got it to the point where we have to rely on this. You know what I mean? And I can't blame people because I rely on my job. You rely on your job.
right.
And so it's kind of a catch-22 a little bit. But like I said, if they actually did it and stuck with it,
Right.
just like the bus boycott, when they did it and stuck
with it, it
and then
worked.
still looked out for each other and made sure everybody was keeping to it and made sure people still got to where they needed to be, it worked. It brought about change. And that's what it's going to take, especially in a climate where white racists are winning. That's what we're seeing. White racists are winning. That's a problem, especially when we have the opportunity and the means to make a change.
I think we should make a change. But like you said, it takes us standing up and it takes us saying, okay, I'm going to risk my livelihood. And it's not my livelihood that is on the chopping board at this time. I'm upset that I had to give up my Nestle. I'm really upset,
Yeah,
but I gave it up.
Yeah, before these
But
NFL players, I mean,
it's
how many
different.
videos, even this year or last year, we saw so many NFL players being arrested and thrown to the ground and treated like common criminals. It's like just because you're an NFL player, before they know that or remember that or care about that, they see that you are a black person.
Right.
They
And
don't
a lot of
give
them,
a
they
shit
didn't even
about
know who
that.
they were first. It's not until they find out, oh, that's who that is. We probably shouldn't do this.
But they didn't give a damn before.
Right.
That's the problem. They didn't give a damn before, and because of the way things have been going regarding how police treat black people, and even when they kill us, they get off, with nothing. And then when they have to lose their pay, they get back pay.
Right.
So
they
there's
get a
no
paid
consequences.
vacation, everything.
There's no consequences for how they treat us, and until we demand different, then we're not going to get any different.
Hollywood is stepping up when it comes to the Me Too movement. These women are stepping up. It would just really be nice to see these black NFL players, these black NBA players, because the rule has always existed in the NBA's charter that they had to stand for the national anthem, which is why it never went there. It crossed over into a few baseball leagues, but it never crossed into NBA because the rule was a pre-existing rule that they had to stand for the anthem. So they just couldn't do it. They were already contracted to that. And I can understand that. But they did vocally support it. Now their rule is the same as the NFL rule. Either stand or don't be on the court. I just wouldn't show up. I wouldn't be on the court. I just think and especially for those players who have been playing for a while, who've got that money, who've got that bank account now.
But then,
it's not
I mean,
as much of a risk as the new guys who don't have nothing, who don't have anything.
but it's still a risk that
I know
we have to
it is
acknowledge.
still, and
it's like
I
it's
acknowledge
us
that.
asking other people to risk their livelihood, just like
Right.
Colin Kaepernick did. He risked his
Right.
livelihood in order to speak up for our people.
And his livelihood has been taken away from him. So I totally understand that is a big ask. It really is a big ask. But at the least, follow the rule and just walk off.
It's one of those questions or situations where you ask yourself, which side of history do you want to be on?
Right. And that's only a question you can answer. So, or if you're lucky enough to play for the Jets, take a knee.
Yeah.
Because
On the
your
field.
owner is going to pay. He's already said, I'll pay if they want to protest.
Because he understands that this is wrong. And it's like the NFL is kowtowing to 45.
Oh, yes. Because that's the
And
only
this-
reason. POTUS, what's that man? Who's number 2? The VP.
Mike Pence.
This is a win for POTUS. Like, how is this a win for POTUS? He
And-
don't
and
have nothing to do with this.
He because of his influence, and that's a problem. But that's a
that's a
problem.
problem.
Because he shouldn't have a
He
say
shouldn't
in
have
any of this.
Right. Anything to do with
but
this.
they don't care. They do whatever the hell they
the
want to,
problem.
and Congress sit back and let.
Anywho, I'm just out of words.
I feel like we've been out of words since 2016, as far as this government is concerned.
We've been out of words since Obama got on that plane or that helicopter and left.
And said deuces and went on like a 2-3 month vacation and kicked it. And everybody was like, "Hey, you don't see us over here struggling. You don't see us struggling, bro."
Now he got a Netflix deal, and
Him and his wife.
and people talking about boycotting it. Boycotting
yeah,
Netflix. Really?
yeah,
Bye.
whatever.
Bye, Felicia. So, Harvey Weinstein has been charged.
I heard he showed up at he turned himself in, I think, yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today is Saturday where we're doing the show.
Morgan Freeman has been accused.
Morgan Freeman has been accused.
I'm not shocked.
Why are you not shocked?
I think it wasn't a few years ago, but some years back, Morgan Freeman was charged with beating his wife or something. And Morgan Freeman is not a clean guy. He doesn't have a clean history, but I'm not surprised because he's a man.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay,
maybe I
yeah,
didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, let's
But
backtrack.
I'm just not surprised. I think it's going to be very few people who shock me if they get accused in any of this, because we are talking about a culture that was accepted.
Back then, yes.
Yeah. And Morgan Freeman been in movies forever.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said Samuel L. Jackson did it. Denzel did it. I mean, it was a culture that was accepted. Not to say that either one of them have,
Right.
Hopefully they haven't, but an accepted culture. And then again, like I think I stated on a previous show, understanding what is taught, what men teach their sons, what women teach their sons, and what girlfriends teach their boyfriends by allowing certain actions and by saying, it's okay, he's just being a boy, or, and them thinking, well then, okay, maybe it's okay to do this. I'm just being a boy, So
This is what we do.
yeah, this is what y'all do. So I'm not shocked at all.
Do we know what the accusers are saying that he's done?
I didn't read
You was like, you know what? You
when
saw the headline.
I saw the
I'm
headline.
not
Pretty much, I
surprised.
saw it. I'm not surprised. And I would not be surprised if the majority of men in Hollywood don't get called out. I'm just not surprised.
But this goes back to you brought it up when they were talking about Bill Cosby and like Tavis Smiley and other people, the fact that the accusations come out and then they start losing sponsorships, they start losing deals, they start losing all of this stuff without being convicted or charged with anything.
Speaking of, there's some woman, I think she was in Dallas, she accused a cop of sexually assaulting her. He pulled her out, made her do a breathalyzer because he said she was driving erratic and he thought she was drunk. He arrested her because he felt like, even though she passed the breathalyzer, he arrested her. He still felt like she was doing something. She was on something, and he has the right to do that. Come to find out, she accused him of all kinds of stuff. Come to find out that they showed the video. None of it was true. Absolutely none of it. This is why we have due process. This is why the court of public opinion can't win, because court of public opinion is
But
whether I love you, not whether I believe what happened or not. It's about I like this person, so he could have never done it.
well, they say everybody say, well, a lot of people, especially black people, are saying that about R. Kelly and all his accusers.
Right. Well, but R. Kelly needs to be he needs to be charged. He needs to go to trial. There needs to be an investigation. There needs to be some kind of evidence, some kind of something, and not just a few women who've gotten together and said, okay, this is what he did. I don't want to take away from women not telling your story. You have every right to tell your story.
Right
you
on.
have every right to be heard. Continue to speak. Continue to have a voice. But that should not take away due process. We have a tendency in this country to go too far left, too far right. All this time, we've been way too far left. These men, they ain't doing nothing wrong. They ain't doing nothing wrong. Bull. Some of them are, just like all these cops ain't doing nothing wrong.
Who been saying that? Ain't nobody
cops,
been saying all these men ain't doing nothing. Who been saying that?
For years we've said that.
I feel like for years they probably pushed it under the rug and just not even thought about it.
Every time it's been brought to court, it's been about, can this be won? Every time it's been brought to not court, but brought to justice, it's, can this be won? Every time it's been brought to court, it's been, oh well, they just doing what men do. They're young boys. Think about, look at the kid that raped that girl on the college campus, and the black man saw him and testified against him, and he got a slap on the wrist. Oh, they're just doing what boys do.
Who was that?
Oh God, I don't remember his name anymore, thank God. But you remember the story where the girl got raped on, I think it was Stanford. She got raped.
About Brock Turner?
Yes.
Oh, well, he got convicted. The jury was like recommended 15 years. The judge was like 6 months.
Slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
He's just doing, we don't want this
No,
to affect
I don't know if they
his
said
life.
he's doing what boys do, but they did say, he has a future or whatever. He was on the swim team or whatever. So
everybody got a future. Harvey Weinstein got a future.
No, he's like 95. So
no, he's not.
he looks like he's 95.
He still got a future. Everybody got a future. That's bull. My point is, all of this looking the other way, they just doing what boys do, all that mess has covered and shielded so many men. Congress, I wouldn't be surprised if every man up in Congress has done something.
Yeah.
Men with power, this is what they do. Men with money, this is what they do. I'm not saying every last one of them, by any means, but this is what they do. And women need to be heard. Women should not lie, especially about something like this. However, women have been doing that since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So let's be real. We know women have lied in the past.
Yes.
And that's not to say you're going to lie or you're lying. It's just women have lied in the past.
Which is the reason we have due process.
Right.
To try and weed out the lie.
Right. Men have raped and pillaged and sexually assaulted and molested and talked and did all kind of crap in the past.
Yes.
That's not to say you're that man that did it. This is what the process is for. I don't like hearing that the justice system doesn't work. It does work. It's just the people in it that are the problem. It's the people in it that sit there at the top and say, well, we're not going to prosecute because we don't think this case can be won. Well, so her voice is stifled because you don't think you're good enough to win? Then find somebody who believes in that.
Well, I think most of the time when that happens, it's because they don't have the evidence. They only have like your word versus the other person's word. So what do you do at that point?
You go to court.
And
let
go to
everybody
court anyway. Okay.
Right. Let people be heard. You don't get to make that decision. The process works. The laws that are there work. They work if you don't look at the law and say, oh, well, this is a black man. No, so it doesn't apply. It does apply. Stop picking and choosing and cherry picking how you want the law to apply and let it apply to all men. If a few years back, we was 3/5 a man. Or, well, y'all was. We was nothing. Sometimes I think we still nothing. But
when you say we, you talking about
black women.
Okay.
But, you was 3/5 a man. Now we know you a whole man. Ooh, got a whole piece. So everything should apply the same way. If you stop looking at the laws and cherry picking the way you want them to apply and make them apply the way they are written, the system works. If you go in and you get rid of the prosecutors that don't want to do their job, that are accepting that, oh yeah, we gonna do it just because he's black, or oh, we're not gonna do this because it's a cop. If you get rid of all the people that are doing the BS, the system will work.
Right. And when you go in and get rid of them, she's talking about us, because those people that are in those positions most of the time are voted in by us.
They are elected. You elect your prosecutors. You elect your DA. You elect your judges. You elect everybody.
They're having that same issue, and I think it's Sacramento, where Stephon Clark, the DA took some contributions from the police union or something like that, so she didn't want to even investigate the whole Stephon Clark shooting. And that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
This man was killed. He had a cell phone in the back of his grandmother's yard. And okay, we're not even going to investigate. And then you getting kickbacks from the police union when the police are the ones who did. Like, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
To me, it's in black and white that's a problem.
Again, the system will work if you get rid of the people who are in it causing a problem. The system, the way things are written, when the forefathers sat down and wrote the Constitution, they were writing something that was almost perfect. And what made it perfect is the ability for the people to adjust it. That's what made it perfect. The ability for the people to change it. But when you stop and you look at the people and say, well, you're not a person, but you are, and you're not a person that counts because you're female, and you from Mexico, you don't even belong here.
So you no longer get a voice,
When you start cherry picking, then it doesn't work.
Because you only want to make sure that your voice counts, the white voice counts, versus
everybody else's. So we got to pay attention to our law or our voting. We've got to pay attention to what we do, how we do it. We got to stop saying, well, I'm not going to. Somebody posted online that the census was wrong. They were talking about 80% of fathers are not in the home, or 80% of black men are raised without fathers. And somebody was asking, well, where does this statistic come from? Because just because the black man isn't in the home doesn't mean he's not being a father to his child.
He's not a part of his child's life.
So and they said the U.S. Census. Well, the census is wrong, and I don't do that. I would never do the census. Well, that's why it's wrong.
Because you're not participating.
That whole statement is why it's wrong. Well, it's only done for them. Yeah, it is done for them, but the whole purpose of it is still there. So when you take away your own tool to make sure your voice is heard, then you don't do anything but undercut yourself. The census is wrong. Well, how is the statistic ever going to be right if you refuse to participate in it? Somebody said, I've never gotten a census. And I think they were like 23. Well, the census only comes out every 10 years. How old were you in 2000 when it came out? 2010. How old were you? Because I remember thinking, I've never seen the census. They've never come by my house, and they've still never come by my house. But
I received one when I was living here.
No, I'm saying physically. They've never come by my house.
Okay.
But I got one in the mail, and I filled it out. They actually came by my aunt's house, and she actually talked to him, because what I told her, normally I pretend like I ain't home. Why?
Because she ain't got time.
Like, I don't have time to deal with them people. What are you doing? Girl, they came over here while I was watching The Young and the Restless. Really? You recording The Young and the Restless
too? That show is
too?
still on?
Yes.
Wow.
And I tell them, you recording The Young and the Restless too. Just keep recording. Talk to the man. Rewind the tape and watch it. It's that simple. So you cannot get angry when you do not participate in the system that is set up.
I think one of our problems, as far as black people are concerned, is that we complain about it, and we're not just actually taking a step back and realizing that what they are doing is using the system against us, and we refuse to acknowledge that the system is working for them because they're using it, but we refuse to use it for ourselves. Now, sometimes the system, of course, is set up against us, but when we can use it, I feel like we should actually utilize it for our benefit.
But the system is only set up against us because we don't participate in it. And everybody says the system is rigged. No. What they're counting on? They know
that
black men are not going to vote.
Yep.
They know black men are not going to fill out the census. They know black people are not going to get involved. They already know it.
Which is why before we started recording, I told you, like, I'm still fearful of 2018, the general election, because they know, and I feel that our people, even though we're fired up or we're angry when it comes time to vote, because this is still early, when it comes time to actually showing up at the polls, when we can make a difference and stop this president from being able to do whatever the hell he wants to do whenever he wants to do it, we can stop that.
We can stop the madness this year. We can literally, all we got to do is change Congress.
Yes.
That's all we have to do. And we can stop the madness, because then all Congress will do is stop him, just like they did Obama his last 4 years in office. They stopped him. They would not let him do anything. We can do the exact same thing right here. Obama's legacy is about to go down the toilet. If somebody doesn't do something, if he does a full 4 years, everything Obama did is going to be gone. He might not be able to repeal Obamacare, but what he can do is make it very difficult for Obamacare to function. And that's
which is what he's trying
doing.
to do, yeah.
You know, so if you really want that president to have a legacy, or if you forget Obama, if
and
you
it's not
care
about that,
about
just
your
humanity.
own self.
Like who would go and say these companies can pour bullshit into the ocean? Like, we don't care. We're taking away that restriction. Who would say, okay, this company can pollute the air, we're taking away that restriction? Who what
would
human
say,
being
after the recession and after everything those banks did, who would say, well, we're gonna lift all the regulations
and let them do it again?
And it's only been 8 years. I can see if it was 30 years ago.
No,
8 years.
It doesn't make any sense. Like a person who was concerned about humanity, period, wouldn't do any of this.
Right.
And that's who you have in the presidency. Someone who doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and his friends.
Something has to be done. We can do something. All we got to do is get up and vote. Literally go around how far is your voting place? A few blocks, maybe a mile.
And even that, you can vote early. Like they send,
in a lot of states,
ballot.
you can vote early.
They send you a ballot to your house. You can mail it in, and it still counts.
You right about that. Just get up, make your voice heard. Stop believing in the hype that the system doesn't work. The system is rigged. The only way it's rigged is they know you're not going to participate, so they don't even worry about it.
So you're the one rigging it.
There you go. So you got anything for us?
I did, but nope, not anymore. Not anymore.
Fired up enough, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, definitely like us on Facebook. Put your comments in. I'm back now. I'm paying attention.
So
I've been gone.
to the comments?
Yeah, I've been gone for a minute, but I think I'm back. I had my mental health day, and that's what it took. I needed one. Back.
Right on. We all need one every now and then.
And I was bored out of my mind. People wouldn't talk to me on the phone. I was lonely. So bored. But it really did take that to get me vibrant and popping again. So
one of these days, I'm gonna be reinvigorated to feel like that again.
You don't feel like this again?
Oh no, I've told my people today that I'm taking a break. I'm pulling away from my videos and all of that. So yeah, I need one of those days.
You just need,
I need a
sometimes
break.
You just need that. Whew, I gotta take it. And you know what? The way we don't talk about mental health
right
a lot. We have got to start talking about mental health. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If you're not feeling like you right there in the head, if you feeling like something's off, if you feeling depressed, if you have had a baby and you're depressed and you're looking at your kid like, why the hell are you here? And I want to throw you against the wall. You are not the only one. It's not a good thing to say, but you are not the only one. Go seek help. There you can get a therapist. Try to keep them from putting you on drugs, because that's all they want to do. Instead, have them get a therapist who's going to get to the root of the issue with you and help you get through it. Sometimes you'll need a drug.
Yeah, I'm about to say, sometimes you do need drugs.
Sometimes you do need drugs, but don't get one of those who just immediately say, okay, I'm going to write you a prescription and that's all we going to do. No, deal with it. However and some people, I don't deal with it. Jesus take care of my mental health. Well, then you and Jesus need to go over and y'all need to talk
probably more often.
Right. If you feeling this way, you and Jesus need to have some serious talking. Because I have those days where it's like me and God, you and I, we need to talk. And we sit and we talk all day while I'm washing clothes, while I'm cleaning house, whatever I'm doing. Me and the Lord talk.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. Heck, I think everybody need to talk to God at least once a day.
Yeah.
But just you're not alone. If you need that mental health day, take it. I think I honestly think that companies need to start, they give you 5 sick days. They need to give you 5 mental health days too. And the worse worse the company is to work for, the more mental health days they need to give.
You're like, if it's like super stressful, like even my boss was like, because we've been having a really stressful like couple months, and yesterday my boss was like, you know what, we got a 3-day weekend. I know you've been like covering for other people. You've been doing all this. Take Tuesday off too. Just take a 4-day. Just to regroup.
We need good bosses like that. That's what we really need.
Yeah, we do.
My job, they said, look, you want to get paid, you better come in before and after. Take the mental health day when you need it. Call it whatever you need to call it to take it, but take the day. Go see somebody if you need help. If you're struggling with something, don't think you're the only one struggling with depression. I've been depressed. I've gone through depression just like everybody else has, I'm sure. And I found ways to cope. You will find ways too. And hey, if you just need to talk, you can IM me, hit me. I'll talk to you. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but I'll talk to you.
Well, they clearly they're going to have something that they would like to talk about. So you'll be the listening ear and talk back.
I'll talk to you.
And that makes me appreciate. You know who? Jennifer Lewis. Like she's like
hilarious.
My favorite. I feel like she's like an aunt.
She does feel like
one
that.
thing here recently that she doesn't mind talking about is her battles with her mental health.
Right, she is bipolar.
Yes, and she owns it, and now she's in control of it, and that's the big thing. Recognizing what it is, accepting it, and then controlling it, and not allowing it to control you. And I just love her for being so open and honest about the things that she's gone through, and it's so encouraging and motivating to hear her talk about some of those things. She did a recent interview on The Breakfast Club, and she talked about some of it, and it's just like I just love this. Love this lady.
She's honest about it, but just even for like my little sister, she said something to me one day. My youngest nephew is 3, and she said to me, she had taken him to the grocery store, him and his big brother, to the grocery store, and they were doing what kids do, run around, screaming, yelling. And she said, and I couldn't get him to do what I wanted him to do, and I couldn't spank him because they were going to say something to me. I just didn't know what to do, and I just fell to the ground and started to cry. She's like, I just didn't know what to do. And when she said that to me, I'm like, that sounds like postpartum to me. That's kind of a way a mother with postpartum would react when they can't get that baby to stop crying. And so I went and looked it up. While they don't call it postpartum, because of the baby's age, if you were postpartum after you had the baby and never diagnosed, you could still be having symptoms even at 3 years of age. You could still be dealing with that depression, and it's just never been dealt with. So, and they tell you seek help because it's the same thing. It's just because the baby's so old, they don't give it that name. So, even if you've got a 5-year-old running around and you're feeling this stress and you don't understand why, go see somebody. You're not the only one having problems. That stigma that Black people have about going to see a therapist, get rid of it. Let it go. Oh, I'm going to see Jesus. I'm going to go to the church. Do that too.
Yeah. Even if you need to go
see
talk
Jesus,
to your pastor and make sure your pastor listen to you and get it all out.
Yeah, but seek help. Don't just sit there and hold and bottle that stuff in. It's not healthy. It and not only, they say it gives you wrinkles, makes you look old, but there is scientific fact. Stress makes the body react very badly. The body actually starts getting old. You start having headaches. You start having heart palpitations. You start having real bad symptoms when you are stressed out. So if your job is stressing you out, take a mental health day. I know somebody who actually took FMLA for stress, went to her doctor, told her doctor, hey, these people are stressing me out. Her doctor filled out FMLA paperwork, and they had to let her go for 6 months and couldn't do nothing about it. Yeah. Had to keep her job and let her leave for 6 months. They have to. Now, I think you got to be on the job for like a year to get FMLA, but still, they have to let you do it. Do what you need to do to get your mental health right, to get your kids' mental health right, because in the end, we don't want nobody shooting up nobody else. I'm tired of it. I'm
all these,
tired of
high
it.
school shootings or whatever.
And we need to start dealing with that. We need to stop. We need to start dealing with each other. Let's roll back time and go back to how we dealt with families in the 60s, how we dealt in families. And I believe in beating ass. I'm sorry, I do. But you might not. And I also don't believe that works for every child.
Right.
It wouldn't work for my nephew. Oh, no.
And for some, it doesn't take all that.
Right.
You know?
And so for some, all you got to do is give a look and they jump in order. I didn't like a whooping. So my mama look at me crazy. That was enough for me. You know, whereas my older sister, that didn't work. But neither did whipping. So taking away her strawberry shortcake did.
A little doll or something like that?
No, strawberry shortcake.
Like
the dessert.
Why does she have strawberry shortcake?
Because my mama would make it, and when she get in trouble, that was the only way. So,
Okay.
You know, so they found, okay, she done did something. I'm going to make a strawberry shortcake for everybody. You don't get none.
Okay.
It worked.
Right on.
I don't know why. It was strawberry shortcake, but it worked.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
You got to
whatever
find what works.
Got a goddaughter. Being cute worked. My nephew, he's a hoarder. I admit it. He take after me. You put money in his bank.
Oh yeah.
He make it
yeah.
shake.
You take his money.
Take his money away.
He feels some
It
type
don't
of way.
shake. You feel some type of way. He don't like his money getting taken away.
Right on.
So
I don't like my money getting taken away,
Right.
even though I don't poop for food like he used to.
He's now
Or
trying to poop for money.
poop for change. But there is money in that, I hear. You know. Anyway.
Well, that video, it wasn't no money in that. Anyway, I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but
I feel like it went into where we needed to go.
Okay.
Especially talking about mental health, because that's an important topic and it's something that we don't talk about enough as black people.
We don't. So take that mental health day. And on that note, I guess we're going to take a mental health day. See y'all in a couple of weeks.
Peace.